So guys, I think we can start the session, right? First of all, thank you so much for taking out time from a precious schedule to come and join me, to hear me basically talk about a life after death. Well, as I always say and I always believe, this topic is as exciting or as interesting it may sound. It sends shiver down our spine. We are always intrigued in knowing what happens life beyond, but we are susceptible about facing the real scenario. We mortals pass through that phase, that path which takes us to the unknown land. We always find ourselves engulfed in pain, in suffering, in thought. Our thought process is stuck at this level, and we are always wondering what will happen next to us. Let me make one thing very clear to you. I am not here to talk about death as some specialist, or maybe I can offer this knowledge to you about what happens after death. I can tell that I have got expertise in that. Sorry, not at all. I am here to talk about life. I am here to talk about how beautiful this life is, and how beautiful there is a life beyond, and how difficult it is for us to face it because of our own inhibitions and our own doubts. That's first thing. So let's start with the topic death. First thing, as described in the Vedas, as mentioned in a clear-cut fashion, that we are son of immortals. Amartasya putra. That is what we have been described. So first thing, very clear to all of us, is that we cannot die. Yes, you can put it on records. We cannot. We are not meant to die. So that's the first thing. We are all immortals. We all have that elixir of immortality in our hands. We all always have. It's just that we are too distracted to actually explore that within us. We have that thing in that. All of us has heard about a churning of the ocean, Samudra Manthan. What was that about? It was about that Amrit. You know exactly what was that? That is basically exploring our own realities, our own immortal existence, to life beyond death. That is what that elixir of immortality was all about. So, that thing is also clear. Now, our ancient scriptures have mentioned n number of times about life and death. Let's take an example of Katha Upanishad, famously known as Katha Upanishad, in which there was a conversation between Yam and Nachiketa. Nachiketa was a 5 years old kid who conversed with Yam regarding death, immortality, our existence, and what happens life beyond. Then there is a story about Ruru and Pramadvara, a beautiful love story. In fact, the first love story of a human mankind, where a petty human like Ruru challenged death, and he extracted his life out of that death. That was Ruru and Pramadvara. The other one was the story of Satyavan and Savitri, a again about death. How beautifully that woman fought with death to extract her husband from the clutches of death. Yum. Every time that topic or that person comes in our mind, it always gives us a negative feeling. But trust me, it's not that bad. That has got varied meanings, varied ways. We never die, as I've said. We just leave this mortal body. I have been receiving lots of questions. Thank you so much, guys. I've been receiving lots of questions where people have told me also, and they've asked me also, that what happens after death? What happens? Our body burns, we become a bacteria, we die. Let's not talk about death, let's talk about life. Kisne dekha hai, kya hota hai, something like that. I absolutely agree with you. But I am here to motivate you. I am here to guide you. I am here to tell you about my experiences, my out of body experiences, my travel which happened beyond this body. When I wrote this book, Journey to the Next Level, it was all about my experiences and life beyond. I was having those experiences when I could feel my soul getting out of this body and then traveling to different levels. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And amazingly, when I wrote it down, when the novel came out, I got calls from people telling me that they have experienced same, but they didn't add the word to express and to tell people that what actually happens, and they were always susceptible about it. The people will not trust them on that. But ultimately, when they saw it written, and they were like, exactly that is what has happened with us. There was no explanation to that. So what happens? I will give you a little brief about that book. The book is about a young guy, Omi, who is a sailor, just like me, who used to travel around the globe, who was very happy, very content with his life. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just happy earning money. He was just settled down. He was sailing. He used to come back, enjoy, and then go back again. There was no purpose of his life. It was one fine day when his uncle got stuck. He went into coma, and he called Omi for help. That is the time he realized that he has to leave this mortal body and he has to travel to those worlds, which actually are different levels of human consciousness. So what is death? Death is just a beginning of a new life. Take an example of a person who has rented an apartment, rented a house in fact. A very fine landlord, a very nice gentleman, gives him this house to live, spend his time there. So he starts living in that house, and slowly and gradually he believes that this house to be his. He damages that house, he then repairs that house. Sometimes something is happening, sometimes that is happening, but he continues living. But after some time, that house is dejected. It needs to be repaired. It needs to be demolished, not even repaired. So landlord, that very fine gentleman, comes up to you and say, "Sir, it's a high time. You now need to vacate this house so that it can be demolished, and then you can be replaced or you can be put into some other place." But we don't want that. We are very much happy. We are so attached with that house. We don't want to leave it. We are content living in that house. Whether it's dejected, whether it's rejected, whether it's falling apart, whatever it is, we don't want to leave that. So what ultimately happens? We are forced by the landlord. He's a very nice gentleman. He knows that if I stay there, I will die with that house. It will collapse on my hand. So he draws it. He takes us out of the house. We cry. We are in pain because we are unable to leave that house. He takes us out of the house and he puts us in a better position, better place, nice apartment. And he says, "Sir, this is what I was talking about. This is now a new house, new place for you to reside." And then we realize, oh my God, I was just struggling with that old house and I got a better place to live. This is what death is. It is just life after life after life after life. There is no end to it. We are immortals. We cannot die. Nobody dies. It's just this piece is shed off. The skin is shed off. And then the soul starts traveling. One of the questions I received, where does the soul go to? Soul travels to the different levels of human consciousness. We are living in one dimension. That's a physical level. Then there are dimensions other than that. There is a vital level. Now vital level are divided into two parts. One is a lower vital level, one is a higher vital level. Then the next level is the cosmic level. Another level is the mental level. And then it is absolute. So there are different levels of existence where soul travels. And each level is a life in itself. Will lead the whole complete life there. And again it's like peeling off onion. You peel it off, the new part comes out. You again peel it off, the new part comes out. So that is what it happens. Every time we travel to a next level, we shed off this soul, we shed off this body, and we travel to the next level. The higher we go, we keep shedding off this body. We keep shedding off the soul, and lighter it becomes. Lighter and lighter it becomes. So how do we travel? How does it happen? Very easy. It is all about exploring the infinite, exploring that unknown territories. We continue living this life. We are in this world. We spend a whole day doing something and we realize in the end of the day there's something missing. I often ask this question to myself. What am I doing? There's something other than that. Kuch na kuch to hai. There's something which exists other than this life. And that is what it is. The infinite existence which lies beyond. I remember one experience, I'll share it with you. I mentioned it in my novel. My grandmother died in 2001. I was very depressed. I was very sad. I was very close to my grandmother. So we took her to the cremation ground. We cremated her. And when I came back, I fell asleep. I immediately woke up. And I found myself at the same place, in the same cremation ground, just looking everywhere. And there were thousands of funeral pyres there. And I was like, oh my god, I just left this place. And then I started traveling. I started moving ahead. And I can see some questions coming. I'll answer to all your questions once I'll complete this. And for sure, I'll answer to all your questions, right? Okay, so then I started traveling and I was sitting by the banks of river Ganges and I was crying because I was missing my grandmother. Suddenly somebody tapped on my shoulder. I looked behind, it was my grandmother. And I was like, oh my god, I lost you. And here you are, as hale and hearty as I saw you in the physical level. And she was like, of course I am here. I've not gone anywhere. And then she held my hand and she started traveling. And when I looked down, it was like we were floating over river Ganges. And I was like, Granny, what is this? Where are we going? She said, you have to take me. You have to help me cross this river. I said, what is this river? She said, this is Vaitarni. It's a divine river of death, which a person needs to cross so that he can go to the different dimensions. And I took her there. I left her to the other side of the bank, where one of my cousin who had died in a car crash was already standing there and he was waiting for her. He took her hand and they walked. And I just kept looking at her and she was like, I will keep meeting you every day. And that is what happens. Death is just closing your eyes and opening up again. We meet people every day. We have lost people. We believe them to be lost, but they're always with us. I remember meeting my sister, I remember meeting my near and dear one every day. When I started meditating, I started practicing, I was very scared, that I was getting these things. When I was seeing, I was getting visions. I was scared. I was like, I didn't believe this was happening. But then I realized that this is as good as chewing a chewing gum and then spitting it out. It's very simple. When our body, we leave this body, only this body is left. Our soul is a container which contains all our experiences. I will not say memories. Memories are too physical to be talked about. It is about consciousness that it carries along with that soul. So once it is carrying all the experiences, consciousness with it, we can never die. We are immortals. It is all about if we can recall it. We are unable to recall it, so we have to practice recalling it. That is the practice. That is why do we meditate? We don't meditate so that we get all the happiness, all the peace in the world. We meditate to explore our infinite existence. We meditate so that we can explore what lies within us, what we really are, what lies hidden in the heart of this whole world, where all the experiences are lying there. And when we go back, then we can connect them at a stretch. It's like a time and space travel. You can either go ahead or either go back, but it's all connected. So when you meditate, when you close the mind, you can go beyond life and life, and you can see all things what have happened, and then what is going to happen, what is happening in fact. In fact, it's like a sequence. It is all about connecting that jigsaw puzzle. I'll tell you one story. In Mahabharata, what happened was that during the war of Mahabharata, Arjun lost Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu died on the battlefield. Arjun was dejected. He was like he lost everything. He was crying and crying and crying, and Krishna was like, "Come on, good morning, wake up. It's okay." He said, "No, it's not okay. I have lost my son. I have lost my beloved son. He was everything to me. Why am I fighting this war for? Why am I living in this world? I have lost him. This is for him. I was planning his whole future, and if he's not there, then why do I want anything of this sort?" Krishna said, "Gentlemen, I have already recited whole Bhagavad Gita to you prior starting this war, and you are now against acting stupid. I have already explained to you about yoga, about life, about that. Again you are talking about same thing." Arjun said, "I don't care about the Bhagavad Gita. I don't care. I have lost my son." So Krishna was like, "Okay, so if I'll help you meet your son, if I'll take you to him, will you be okay?" Arjun was like, "Of course, this is what I want. I want to meet my son." He said, "Are you sure you will not complain?" He said, "No, not at all. I want to meet my son." He said, "Okay." So Krishna took Arjun to the different levels of the conscious existence, left their mortal body, they started traveling, and they reached land of the living dead. They reached there. There were lots of warriors standing in line, waiting for the turn, so that Chitragupta was there. He was just counting what you have done. All the dead warriors. The war was being fought, so a lot of warriors were coming. Someone was sitting, someone was standing, someone was chatting. So Krishna was like, "Okay, please, just go ahead. Look for Abhimanyu. You will find him somewhere." So Arjun started looking around here and there, and then at a corner he could see Abhimanyu, and he was so happy. He just rushed to Abhimanyu and he hugged him tight, and he was like, "I missed you so badly. I lost you. I thought I have almost lost you. And see, here you are without a single wound on your body, and you look so young. My son, my baby, my son." He cried, and after some time, Abhimanyu was like, just a minute. "Sir, first of all, just give me some space to breathe. Yep, stopping my passage." He said, "Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the greetings. Secondly, who are you?" And Arjun was like, "What do you mean who I am? I am your father. Arjun, I have been crying for you." He's like, "Come on, sir, don't joke. Past life, I was your father. Before that, I was your grandfather. Before that, you were my mother." And Arjun was like, "Oh my God." He looked at Krishna, and Krishna was smiling. He said, "This is what it is. This is what it is." Actually, people come in our life for experiences, for help us progress. What is the purpose of our life? Why are we different from animals? Why are we different from amoeba beings? Because we are progressing, we are developing, we have a thinking brain, we are moving ahead in life. we are planning to do something different. We are exploring our infinite existence. We are all moving from becoming Superman from man. What is a Superman? He knows all about past, present and future. He knows all about our existence. He knows everything what is happening and what has happened. So if you'll get to know that you have lost your very near and dear, you lost your grandmother, and previous life she was your daughter, how happy you would be. You would be like, oh my god, she'll be again coming back, maybe in some form or the other, but she'll definitely come back, because we are all here to progress. That's what the death is, and that continually happens. Regarding the levels of existence, yes, once we depart this body, we are immediately born in this level. Immediately, like I'm sitting in this chair, and if anything happens to me, I'll open my eyes and I'll find myself again sitting on this chair. That's a lower vital level. That is when we are too attached with this material world. We often get to know from people, I've seen ghosts, I've seen that person, because that person has been too attached with the material world. That's why it's difficult for him to leave this world at this moment. It takes time for him. So it's on us to prepare him to do that. So, and if we are having a bit of more conscious level, then we go to the higher vital level. If we have got a little more conscious level, we are much more aware about us, then we go to the cosmic level. And then the mental level. So big monks, saints, mystics, they don't go in lower vital, higher vital, they immediately go to the cosmic level, because they've already gone through all these things. And it's like a pot out there. You go there, you take your experiences, consciousness, you put it there, you again come back. Again you gain, you put it there. Again you back. Now those levels are not as simple as this sound. Each level, like vital level, cosmic level, mental level, they have got 7 different levels within them. So you are not living one life, you are living 7 lives within one level. And each level is a progress. And beautiful levels. What beautiful world it is. In fact, in the Vedas, they have mentioned about a Vijnanamaya Kosh, the land of the knowledge, the land of the bright light, the land of where all the experiments are conducted, the land where all intellectual people sit and they discuss the world problem, and then it is transferred to the earth. Do you really think the problem which we are facing at this moment, coronavirus, it has emerged from this level, from this world? Human might be the reason behind it, but the motive has come from above, because there are both negative forces as well as the positive forces. The big battle is going on there. So as good as these negative people are, negative forces are there, the lower vital level who are putting this disease here, there are vital people who are fighting this, and the battle is being fought on those levels. That is what I mentioned in my novel also, where Omi reaches up to the land of the gods, and there he's told by Nachiketa that we are preparing for the war. You have seen there's a lot of negativity on earth, a lot of depression, people are dying, people are committing suicide or whatever it is. Why is it happening? Because negativity is floating from this level to there, because the demons are getting strong. So we need warriors, we need people who are strong enough to fight them out. So that is what is going on in there. So when we meditate, why are we raising our conscious level? So that we can fight in those levels. And the stronger we get mentally, the better prepared we are mentally, those levels, it will be easy for us to traverse. Then there is the land, I was telling about, land of the living dead, where Omi meets Veronica. Veronica is dead many years back, but he meets her in the same way, same fashion as she is. And she is like, this is the place where people who are dreaming and people who are dead, they meet. It's a meeting point for them. So every night when we go to sleep, our soul departs this body and it travels to those levels where we meet people we believe to have lost, but they have never lost. Every night, it's just we don't remember when we wake up. It is all about if we can remember. If we can just remember that my dear father whom I've just lost, I'm meeting him every day. My 5-year-old kid, or maybe my 10-year-old kid, or maybe my grandfather, granddaughter, whoever has lost this world, I'm meeting that person every day, and he is discussing about what I'm planning to do, what will happen, and this is what I'm facing here, this is what is happening. How beautiful it would be. So it's all about remembering. It's all about raising our awareness. It's all about knowing that once we close our eyes, once we silence all the sounds from outside, we can hear what is expected out of us. The sooner we start practicing, sooner we start developing our instincts, sooner we start knowing what lies in the core of our realities, the easier it will become. So the next question will be, how to do that? आपने प्रॉब्लम तो बता दिया, अब सॉल्यूशन भी बताया. Yes, there is always a solution. And I am not the one who is giving solution. I have read it from ancient scripture, practiced it myself, and that is what I am trying to do. I have tried and it has come. So what I do is that every day in the morning when I wake up, I don't talk to anyone. I close my eyes and I just think about what has happened. And slowly and gradually, everything starts coming back. Don't be shocked or surprised if you face hallucinations, because what happens is that our consciousness, it's being attacked by the lower vital forces while it is coming down. It is being attacked. So by the time it is down, it is corrupted. So it's like looking for the needle in a big chaff of wheat. Initially it will be difficult. Slowly and gradually you will understand how to differentiate between a dream and the reality. And somebody says, who has seen death, who has seen soul, who knows what happens after death? Well, you have not experienced it, so you don't know. If you would have experienced, if you would have known, then you wouldn't have been asking this question. We have two ways of living this life. First, whatever we are doing, whatever I can see, whatever I am eating, whatever I am smelling, that is what exists. Other than that, nothing exists. In that case, we cannot see air, so we would have been dead long ago. But anyway, that's one thing. People say that we are living this life, beautiful life, very nice. I'm earning money, good car. So long as I'm living good, when I'm dead because I'm buried, or maybe I'm burned. Other way is that no, this is just what is being made, which is being forced for us to be seen by everyone around us. They created this mirage. The table, the door, people, the car, what we are seeing, I don't really think they exist. Somebody has told us it is a car. It looks like this. So we know, yeah, it is a car. So anything which looks like this is a car. But somebody has told us, isn't it? We can say anything else. We can say it bus. So people will mock you. No, it's a car. Just because 100 people are saying it's a car, it is a car. No. We are made to see what they want us to see. We don't see. So better go inside and look at the being who is watching you. That is what is important. Once you start exploring the infinite existence of our being, you'll realize that everything is interconnected. We don't lose anyone. There is no death. There is no life. It is just connection of our thoughts. It's a connection of our being. It moves in a multi-purpose fashion. All Vedas, Upanishad, it mentions the same thing. Vihaya kamanyahi sarvanupamashirati nispra nirmo nirinkar sa shanti mohadi gacchati. It's a shlok from Bhagavad Gita. It clearly states that we are attached with this world. We are too attached to see anything beyond the palm of our hand. We don't want to, because we are scared. We don't want. Somebody was telling, who knows after that we will just become a bacteria or something. I agree with you. Not bacteria, we can become fly also. We can become anything. But are we humans so weak or so susceptible? Is it so easy that things will merge or melt? That would have been the case. We wouldn't have been having visions. We wouldn't have been having consciousness. We wouldn't have been having a thinking brain. We would have been living like a normal animal, and we would have been eating food, and we would have been dead long way back. You die the day when you stop thinking. You die the day when you lose consciousness, when you lose hold of your own self. You are alive, when you know that you have nothing to lose, you have nothing to gain. Everything is moving in a perfect fashion and perfect way. I remember seeing my grandfather. I have never seen my grandfather. My grandfather long dead in 1956. But when I had that vision in the land of the mystics, saw him riding the horse with a gun in his back. Where did that come from? I have never seen him. I've never even seen his photograph. And he said, yes, we exist. And I said, why did not cross the land beyond? It's been like 40, 50 years which has already passed and you're still in this lower level. He said, 40 years? He said, no, it's just few minutes. 40 years for here, those few minutes. He said, no, I've just died, I've just come here. And he said, till the time I don't want to leave this place, I will not leave because I'm too attached with this place. But there are people, they have been mentioned that they travel to the land beyond with those levels because they have already traveled and they bring those experiences back. There are a lot of scientists who go to sleep, who have been trying level hard to invent something, and they wake up and they're like, blah, this is what I was looking for. This material was missing. Where did that vision come from when he was sleeping? It is all happening in that Vijnanmay Kosh, the land of the knowledge. It is all there. It is when we leave this body, when our conscious soul moves out, we can take it from there and it comes here. When I start writing, I'm writing a poet, or maybe I'm writing a novel, or I'm writing a prose, or whatever I'm writing. I'm not writing. It is a vision which is coming from there. I just close my eyes and I keep writing. It is basically that existence, that infinite being which is residing out there was making me write. Whatever it is happening, whatever has happened, has already happened. It has already finished. We are just the shadow of what is. So the whole idea is that to reach to the core of that place where the things exist, where the people are. Right? Somebody was asking, how should I help people to get out of the pain and suffering? Well, I have already answered to that before. Why do we meditate? Because we are going to those levels, we are making that place stronger. The war is never fought here. There is no battle here. It is always fought on the levels beyond. There, where we have always read in our mythologies, there is a battle between the demons and the devas. What is that? That is within us. That's a level of consciousness, higher dimensions where the battles are being fought, and we are just pawns. So it's on us that how we can develop our being and reach up to those levels. Right? So always remember that we never lose our near and dear. They're always with us. We always see them. It is all about just remembering it. Always knowing that yes, they are. It is all about I need to remember. And once you get that vision and you meet them every day, you talk with them. And in fact, it's a blessing in disguise that we don't remember, because if you will know that they are there and you are meeting them out there, then maybe we will lose touch of this mortal world. So maybe God has offered us and He wants us to develop ourselves to such an extent where we can connect it without losing hold of this thing, without losing hold of this mortal world, neither getting connected to those levels. Just we are knowing, yeah, it is existing, it is always there. Right? So I'll do one thing, I'll start taking the questions. One question I'm getting from Garima. Hi Kunal, wanted to know, we are so attached to that person that even today he is no more, we are unable to accept this fact. So what to do? Yes, Garima. I know it is difficult. It has happened with me. Always remember that the first thing what you said, he is no more. No, he is there. Body might finish, body might die, but the consciousness always resides. His Chetana जिसे हम लोग बोलते हैं, it's a level of consciousness which is floating over us. It is there. It is right there next to you. I've already told you, they are there. It is all about how we get to know that we can connect with them. We are connecting, but we don't remember. So we don't lose anyone. We have never lost anyone. They have just lost his body. ये तो खत्म हुआ है. It is like you are living in a house and वो खत्म हो गया, दूसरा हाउस में shift हो गया. That is what has happened. So it is there. They are always there. And the whole idea is that we are too attached with the physical things. We like talking with people. We like looking face to face with them. So that is what we believe. Yeah, he exists. If I can see him. If I don't see him, he don't exist. No. People exist. things exist. Air exists, atmosphere is there, everything is there. They exist and they are right next to us. We are looking at them. If we wouldn't have been looking at them, then you wouldn't have been feeling their presence. Right? So the whole idea is that you should know that you don't lose anyone. You are always connected. Right? Why do people die at young age? Well, ma'am, age, Neetu has asked this question. Well, ma'am, age, what is age? Age is just numbers, it is time. This is what it is. The time which is in our hand. Who defines the time? Us. We define the age, we define the time. We said, oh, somebody is telling, okay, Kunal, you are 30 years old, or maybe you are 40 years old, or maybe, okay, you are 50. No, you are 35. You look like 40, but you are 35. What is that? Who is giving that numbers? That is because of the skin, because of this, that people see that age. Or maybe date of birth is this and that. So that is, there is no age. Now, dying, that we can say, okay, why do people die? Not why do people die at young age. Every person is here to solve a purpose. We select our own life. We are responsible for our own being. I'll tell one more story, very interesting story. There were two good friends. One was John and one was Yardley. They both used to have food together. They used to work in a mill and they used to have food together during the lunchtime. So they opened their lunch and John saw his lunch and it was peanut butter and sandwich and he started shouting. He was like, what the hell? I don't want peanut butter and sandwich. I don't like peanut butter and sandwich. And he started shouting and Yardley was okay, please John, have it. Tomorrow you'll have something else. Okay, day's finished. Next again they started having food and again that tiffin opened and it was again that peanut butter sandwich. He was like, oh my god, again peanut butter sandwich. No, I don't want to have it. And again shouting. Yardley was like, okay, relax. Tomorrow, maybe, just will change. Third day, when again same thing happened, Yardley, now he lost it. Yardley was like, John, what is the problem with you? If you don't like peanut butter and sandwich, why don't you ask your wife to make you something else rather than cribbing it over here? And John was like, which wife? I don't have a wife. I make this sandwich my own, by myself, every day. That's what our life is. We select our life. Before being born on this mortal level, this world, we select each and every person around us. He will be my father. She will be my mother. He will be my sister. She will be my sister. He will be my brother. Okay, I will select those friends. We create the whole universe around us. We create the whole world around us. You know why? Because we select people based on our conscious level. We always say, yaar, bechara itna gareeb kyun? Why is he so poor? Why is so much of suffering? He selected, he was born because he wanted to experience that. It always starts with those levels. And one person is born in a writer's family, he is writing, one is born in a poetic family or an artist. Why? Because he wanted to experience that. He wanted people to help him out in progress. We are connected to each other to help each other to progress, to move to the higher levels. And once that purpose is solved, we go our own pathways. And then we take a new life with the new people around us, each and all of us helping us to progress. So, young age, maybe he's dying at, maybe he expired at the age of 20, 21, because he knew this is the only year I wanted to spend in this world. I can't spend more time. I will gain that experience during that time. And then I'll try to gain some other experience by coming to the next one. Right? Next question is from Mr. Nitin Shah. Is it possible to skip 1 or 2 levels and proceed more? Of course, sir. Of course. When we talk about I've already discussed that. When we talk about people who go to the level beyond and they've already experienced that thing, then they don't want to live in the lower vital level or the vital level. If we are meditating here, we are practicing here and we are already traveling to those levels, then when we are dead, we already know where we moved to. We already know that this level we've already experienced, I know, and we are bored of this level, and now I want to experience some higher level based on my conscious level, where the air is much more clear, where people are very much clear in their ideologies, where it's the knowledgeable land out there. we select everything out there. We base we place our soul at the right place at the right time. We select each and every. It's exactly like Earth. Exactly when before we are born, we select everyone. Same on those levels. So the monks, the saints, the mystics, they don't travel to the vital level. They immediately go to those levels because they have already been residing out there. But somebody says that if we have to die, why we are born? That is what the question was asked. Well, the amazing thing about this mortal level physical world is that it's known as Karma Bhumi, the land where we perform, the land where we experience. It is only on this level that the performance happens, karma happens, accumulation, knowledge, gaining, fighting, struggling. It can happen only on those levels. Once we have gained that, then we go to the different levels. So, born and dead is just a manipulation of our thoughts. It's all about transformation. I never say death. I always say it's a transformation of a being. When we leave this body, and then we take our soul takes another form, and then we travel to the land beyond. So amazingly, the path is very clear. It is we fail to see it. You will find several people arguing over the fact that no, the death can end, there is no end, and people are scared. One of my very good friends from France, she said that amazingly, people are so scared of dying here. People are not going out of the home. They are so scared. They don't. And she was like, why? Can't understand why people are so scared. If we can only understand that we are not leaving anything, we have everyone around us, whether in this level, whether other levels, we'll never be scared of anything. Right? Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I tried my level best to answer your questions. And again, thank you so much for taking out time. And I'll try to have some more of these sessions. So if you want to connect with me, I'm available all the time. And I'll be more than happy to connect with you. And the whole idea for conducting this talk was that during the depressing time, during this not so good phase, I wanted to bring something positive out of it, that we can motivate each other. It's okay. It's a time. It's not a good or bad. It's just a time. It's a passing phase, and this shall also pass. This is passing. And very soon we'll realize that we had to experience this also. This generation, this time, we had to experience this. And let's all concentrate, let's all try, let's all think about making this world a better place by raising our conscious level, by raising our being, and by knowing and understanding the exact existence, the immortal existence of our being. Right? So one more question, just a minute. Okay, some more sessions? Sure, Garima, sure. I'd love to have some more sessions, and definitely I'd love to get connected with you guys again, and for sure we'll have that session. Thank you so much. बहुत बहुत आप लोगों का धन्यवाद. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you all. Please stay safe, stay nice, and always remember Amartasya Putra. We are all son of immortals. Thank you so much. Bye.